Yeah, I just wanted to talk about this tool. It's basically a slitting saw Arbor that's mounted to a Cat 40, and it's for doing this job. I've got 12 of these pieces to do. This is titanium, and there's a. I talked about this before when I was kind of talking about the tool I wanted to make up for this, but there's a radius that goes on the inside of here, and there's another radius that goes on the outside. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to hog out this material in the center, and I took an end mill. I went back and forth and got most of this out. Then I took a drill and I plunged it, and then I took another end mill and I went down. See, there's a radius that gets in the corner of this part. It looks like that, and it's about that deep. It's about 1 inch deep. It's a 90 thousandths radius, but this is aluminum. These were the test pieces. We made a bunch of test pieces to make sure it worked. Now we're making them out of titanium. And yeah, I was cutting some of this material out, and there's I didn't cut this piece out here because there's an access window that goes in here. It comes in, most of this is going to be gone here, but there's an access window. It's a square window on the top that goes all the way through. And so I just left that material in there. I'm gonna drill a hole, and then we're gonna wire that. It's a rectangle is what it amounts to. There's a rectangle pocket that goes in here, and we're just gonna wire it out. But I just wanted to show you the tool I made to go in and put that radius in there. So I just got it squared off right now. I got a piece on the bottom, piece on the top. I got to take the corner out and put a radius in there. But I wanted to show you the tool I made. It's a Cat 40 tool holder, and I didn't make an arbor. I actually used the tool holder as the arbor. And let me get it, and I'll explain it to you. So I worked this out in the garage the other day. So I got this 6-inch cutter. It's 6-inch. And it's got a 90 thousandths radius in the corners. This is cobalt. It's a stagger tooth milling cutter. Actually, it's for a horizontal mill. It's got 1.5 inch hole in it with a keyway. And this is the only way I could come up with doing this part. And I gotta put that radius in there. This is a job for the Navy. And so anyway, I got the cutter. So this is the Arbor. This is 1.5 inch Cat 40. I'm going to put this aside. So this is just a standard 1.5 inch Cat 40. Now most of them are 1 inch, 1.25 inch. You don't find too many 1.5 inch. So, you know, rather than make an Arbor and this and that, and you know, I wanted to keep it up close. So I made this, I got this piece of stock. It's just a piece of 1.5 inch stock. I just barely brushed it to get it to go in here. So what that does is this, there's a flat here and a, what was that? 1/2 inch diameter hole here. Actually, it's an end mill. I plunged it with an end mill. So what I'm doing here is I'm using these two holes, these two tapped holes. They're 3/4 10, I think they were. So I made that. So that goes in there. Like that. So this is actually the Arbor itself. And I'm using the tool holder as the holder for the Arbor. They're all working together as one. Now originally I talked about wiring this piece off here, but I decided not to because then, you know, if you don't get it just right, your cut's going to be off. And so I thought, well, for the, you know, we're only making 12 of these parts. So I thought, well, I use the bottom here, the stock, and if it doesn't work, then we'll back it up. But it's probably running true to everything else on this holder, so I'm just going to leave it alone. But what happens here is I made this 3/4 10, I don't know what you call it. It's a locating dowel pin thing, and that goes in that hole like that, and it goes in that thread. So when I put that in there, it acts as a key too. It keeps it from rotating. That's its main function. So that goes in there and that threads into there. And that locks this Arbor onto here. And then you got the set screw that goes in the back. And then I have a keyway here to lock the cutter. Now I could put a hex here or whatever, but you know, for the number of parts I got, I'm just going to leave it, and I'll just use a pair of pliers and tighten it down, or vice grips. I don't know if you can see that in there. So the orientation of the keyway to everything else doesn't mean anything. But I made this, I sunk that down really deep, and this is out of steel. It's just a piece of steel I had laying around. I didn't even cut the ends of it. It just happened to be that long. I didn't care how long it was. So I made that slot to fit this key. And this is about the only thing on here that's really, really tight, because I didn't want any wobble in there. But anyway, that key goes in there, and I took that piece, took that down because that fits inside of this hole. I didn't want to have to broach this. There was no point in it. So I just took that key down, just trying to get a lot of surface area to keep that from moving. So that backs up against there. That fits in there. That fits in there. Then the cutter fits on there. And then I was going to put, I wanted to use this piece here because it's already flat on two sides. And it's, I mean, it could have been a little bit bigger. It doesn't quite cover it, but it was a pretty good size. And then I found out that hole in the middle was 1/2 inch, and then I went to drill and tap that 1/4 inch. I was going to use a flathead screw, but the screw went right into the hole. So then I was looking for a bigger screw, maybe a 3/8. And in my little box of stuff, I found this steel washer. This is aluminum, and this is steel. And I said, well, that's about the right size. You know, the diameter is small, a lot smaller than what I really wanted. But it still fits. It still fits the, you know, still contact the side of it, even though I would have liked more, but it already had the holes in it, and it's made out of steel. So I said, well, let me go with that. So I'm not using the hole in the middle because I have the distance from here to here is slightly less than the thickness of the centerpiece, and if I use the hole in the middle, it'll tend to bow that piece down. And these two holes are right here on the side, so that'll help hold it down. I mean, all this cap is doing is just keeping this cutter from falling off of here. You got it's going to hold concentric here, and this is going to hold it in place. So all this does is just keep it from falling off the arbor. So I got a couple of 1/4 20 screws in there, and I'm going to put that on there, and that'll keep the keyway from falling out, the cutter from falling out. And these holes over here will keep the arbor from falling out. So it should work. I mean, it's a pretty tight fit. And then the cap goes on the end. I think there's like 10 thousandths undercut in there. The cap will clamp down about 10 thou. So that's what I was thinking about with that. That was the idea behind that, so that'll work out pretty good, I think. And like I said, I'm only going in, you know, once this, like I said, there's a window inside of here. That's a 1.5 inch wide where those black marks are. There's a window that gets cut in there, and so all I got to do is worry about this side and worry about this side. Just bring those edges down, get a nice radius in there, and we'll see if it works. Alright, yeah, I got the dowel pin holes here because I mounted on a fixture and I put clamps on it. Then we do our work over here. And I got a shape I got to put on here too. A couple of holes and some other stuff, but I can't show you that. I can only show you in the rough form. Can't show you a finished shape. Alright. We'll talk to you later. Yeah, we got this little 3-axis running. Doing a little 3D program here. Got this part where got a lot of angles on it. Yeah, this is a continuous scallop finish program. We got this surface here, and we're blending a radius in here and an angle over here. Yeah, just thought I'd throw that out there.